Hey guys, this is Anime Ballsy here, and today we are going to be doing the third part to What If Goku Had Kinetic Reflection. Please like the video if you haven't already and subscribe. It's totally free and you can unsubscribe whenever you want. There's nothing much else I'd like to say in the intro, so without further ado, let's get into the video.
Slick talker since a jet. Winter time, all the time, ooh, yeah. Look at the way that I move, swag, disrespectful and I'm rude, okay. I had cocaine in the school.
The group then grab their Dragon Balls, get Dende from the hiding place that he was ushered toward, then they are on their merry way toward the base shortly after. With the entire Ginyu Force down for the count, Frieza decides that he must step in now. The Dragon Balls have been gathered by the Earthlings and Dende is here to summon the massive dragon. Here, both Vegeta and Frieza fly in this direction. The two want the Dragon Balls for themselves, but Vegeta begins to slow himself down once he begins sensing the power of Frieza approaching. His power is something that keeps his body in place. How could a person be this strong? The sky darkens to its midnight black and there is a bright golden glow of light as Porunga grows up into the sky. Frieza speeds up in his advance as he can see that somebody has gathered the Dragon Balls for use. Instead though, he is met by the likes of Goku, who stops him in his tracks before he can approach any closer. "Don't come any closer, Frieza," Goku orders. Frieza doesn't seem to be very compliant and shows off his power, revealing his dark purple aura of evil ki. Vegeta sees this from afar and is stunned. He can't believe just how strong Frieza is. What is even more surprising is that Goku continues to stand there, ready to take on the challenge of fighting him. Frieza flies straight in his direction, landing a straight kick to his chest. Goku then feels a little bit of strain from the sheer amount of power that his body contains. Frieza then continues with even more attacks as the others use this bought time to utilize the Dragon Balls. Frieza uses various attacks, double axe handles, punches, tornado kicks. He just wants to deal as much damage to Goku as possible and gets even angrier after each hit once he sees that he is achieving basically nothing. Goku falls back and feels a little bit of strain in his body from the power that he's storing. Shooting himself straight at Frieza, he grunts from the pain he feels in his arm as he delivers the strike. This punch with the stockpiled kinetic energy leaves Frieza with a nasty bruise and a bleeding mouth. Not only that, but Goku can feel intense strain in the bones in his forearm and wrist. After a few seconds, he can see that there's some bruising. His body won't be able to take the attacks from this guy. The sky soon lightens up as the group are just about to make their second wish. Their wish consisted of reviving Piccolo, and the group couldn't think of a proper course of action for their next two wishes. Guru ends up dying and the sky lights up as the Dragon Balls turn to nothing but stone. Frieza, after being manhandled by the likes of Goku, transforms and begins using his second form. This grants him a new power level of 1 million. Except for Gohan, everyone is terrified of how strong Frieza can become now. Krillin isn't even willing to let the gargantuan fighter's eyes fall upon him, hiding behind a rock with Dende. Gohan follows along with them but stays put. He knows that he may need to jump in and help at any moment. Goku doesn't want his body to go through such pain again and decides to give himself a stronger base to work with. He hasn't properly tested this new body of his to see his limits, but he begins using Kaioken ×8 anyway. The strain is heavy but it's manageable and he darts toward Frieza. Throwing a straight punch, Frieza manages to evade before delivering an upwards kick to Goku's unguarded stomach. He subsequently drives up his fist for an uppercut, adding further insult to injury. However, both attacks cause nothing. He finally falls back and launches one of his special ki blasts, only to see it bounce straight off Goku's extended arms. Using his ability of kinetic reflection, the blast's kinetic energy is sent in the opposite direction. Frieza makes sure to evade it, but he must put a lot of effort into dodging it. Soaring straight toward Goku again, he begins delivering punch after punch that Goku just takes right on. With not much time on his Kaioken, Goku doesn't believe that taking the force of his next attack with just his base form would be particularly wise. Therefore, he uses the last few seconds of his Kaioken to utilize this stockpiled power and strikes him right in the gut. Frieza coughs out blood from the hit and looks completely winded. The others are at a loss for words because of the discrepancy in ki signature that they can sense from Goku and Frieza. Goku seems to be much weaker than Frieza, so how can he hurt him this badly with just a single hit? After his Kaioken fades, Goku is grateful to see that the pain in his arm from that hit is only minor. However, he falls back, vigilantly watching his opponent to see when he may attack him again. Goku simply isn't in the best form to be fighting him if his power level is just 100,000. Frieza's eyes are now bloodshot. He is governed by rage now. How could the Saiyan beat him in this way? He's only taken a small selection of hits from him, but he feels almost completely dazed. Therefore, he doesn't see a need to go to his third form. No, he jumps right into his final form. The group are totally shocked upon seeing the number of transformations that this being possesses. However, they feel like this one might just be the tipping point. How could Goku fight Frieza now? Goku begins to fly toward Frieza, but then receives a death beam straight into his stomach. The attack is too fast for him or any of the other spectators to properly see. The Saiyan coughs blood and is just lucky that the blast missed his vital blood vessels and organs. Even with that, his abdomen has ruptured from the blast. It hurts him to move his body in any notable way. Frieza, with his arm still behind his back, flies headfirst toward Goku while laterally moving around his body. He strikes Goku straight in his chest with a headbutt, then follows up with several punches and kicks that rock Goku's body somehow. Even though he is absorbing the kinetic energy, his body is going through a lot of strain to contain each attack's power. Frieza's power level at this point is around 10 million. He is heavily suppressed, but this form of his is just so strong that suppressing his strength still leaves him alarmingly powerful. Goku can feel this dissipating stockpiled power, but he needs to deliver it before it fades. Therefore, he reaches further and begins using Kaioken times 10. His power reaches 1,000,000 as he vehemently shouts into the sky. His 1,000,000 power fuels himself and the fight with the Tyrant continues. Goku's attacks can't seem to hit the mark and the gap between them both seems to get even more apparent as time goes by. Grabbing Goku's extended fist, Frieza punches him right in the side of the ribs and lifts some of his suppressions in the process. Delivering 2 punches straight to his chest, he is again quite surprised to see that his body doesn't move at all. Goku feels great strain from Kaioken and knows that the power of these strikes will be a problem for him to deliver. Frieza gets angry at the Saiyan and his somehow endless amounts of durability. He managed to hit him with the death beam, but his punches and kicks do nothing to properly hurt him. This angers him and the Tyrant begins using his 50% strength already, pushing away waves of pressure and air. Goku is blown away by the power up and his Kaioken fades, leaving his body feeling intense and injured. The kinetic energy that he stockpiled slowly fades away by the second, and he doesn't even think it's wise to use such power. He's not even sure if he could live after doing so. After a few seconds of silent thought, Goku has made his decision on how to defeat Frieza. "Leave here, go now," Goku roars to his friends as he lands near them. Frieza pressures him to retreat and Frieza just laughs upon seeing the Earthlings reveal themselves from their hiding spot. "So, these are your companions," Frieza says, smiling maniacally. After he says this, Goku soon gets his message and holds his arms out with desperation. "Please Frieza, spare them, your fight is with me, not them," Goku urges. Frieza gives him a brief side eye before shooting a death beam straight through Krillin's chest. He coughs out blood and is killed right away. "There you go, Saiyan," Frieza replies, whilst Gohan takes this as a cue to fly away as fast as he can. He feels like he's abandoning Krillin in the process, but what could he actually do if he's dead? Taking Dende, Goku begins using Kaioken times 10 and flies off before Frieza has the chance to properly take him down. Goku, seeing this, is infuriated. He can't believe that this tyrant would resort to such torment. His apathy is disgusting to him. Goku roars at the top of his lungs and powers up, continuing to rise in strength. His rage gets the better of him and he enters the legendary Super Saiyan state. With just a power level of 100,000, his Super Saiyan transformation puts him at a power level of just 5 million. Goku rushes forward with his new power and startles Frieza initially. However, once he notices his lack of speed, he gets a bit happier and wallops Goku with a strike to the gut, then numerous more punches to his body. Each punch causes nothing to Goku but makes him concerned about the power that he's receiving and stockpiling. Taking the final strike to the stomach, Goku curls over and acts like he's been completely winded, much to Vegeta's surprise. The Saiyan has still been watching this fight all along and is now lost for words from looking at his appearance. It was him all along. Goku is the legendary Super Saiyan, but how can he still not hold a flame up to Frieza? Is the Emperor really that powerful? Frieza sees an opening here but then really lets loose, throwing punch after punch and kick after kick. He doesn't want to give Goku an inch of breathing space here since he can see that the end is near. Goku continues to take this stockpiled power and can even feel a slight vibration within his body as it struggles to contain and house all this power. The strain of his first use of Super Saiyan with a much weaker base form than the canon timeline isn't helping him either. Frieza finishes off with a side kick straight to his gut to launch him away. The strike sends him flying across the ground and Goku then rises. There isn't much time to think about his next decision, so he has to use this power now. Goku's fist begins violently vibrating as the power pours into it. He can even feel a sense of burning in his body as it struggles to house the power, but this is the only thing that he can do. If he doesn't use Frieza's power against him, he can't beat him. He roars at the top of his lungs, powering up as much as he can. His golden aura surrounds him, then he zooms forward at full speed. With the stockpiled kinetic energy to fuel himself, Frieza is startled by his advance. There is a trail of blood left to follow Goku as he has already caused significant damage to his body. Streaks of blood already drip down his tensed up arm. Landing the super powered punch on Frieza, his fist flies right through his body and creates a crater beneath them. The impact is akin to an explosion and lifts up a cloud of dust so that the prince can't even see what happens in the end. The smoke slowly clears away and he looks mortified by the sight. Goku's corpse lays next to Frieza's own with his arm ripped off from his torso. There is an alarming amount of blood coming from both fighters and Frieza is still able to crawl away weakly. He somehow managed to survive that hit. He did survive getting chopped in half by Krillin's destructive disc, so he still has some life left in him. Vegeta, please help me, I can give you anything that you want after, please, Frieza, please, while coughing out blood. His vision is blurring and the end is near for the Emperor. Vegeta just sees Goku's dead body ahead of him and can't believe that another Saiyan has fallen at the hands of this tyrant. Here, he is in the best position possible. He can be slaughtered here like livestock, but Vegeta is simply too weak to even leave a graze on him. Even though he's in this state, a power level of 24,000 won't do a thing to hurt him. However, Frieza doesn't have much life left in him. Frieza receives no reply from Vegeta and just blasts him to smithereens, having no mercy for him whatsoever. The Saiyan Prince is killed by him in that blast even when he is so weak like this. Soon enough, the blood loss is too great and the damage is extremely grave. Frieza succumbs to his wounds, just like that, and Goku is dead as well. King Kai then wishes for all of those killed by Frieza's army to be wished back to life. Well, he tells the people on Earth to do that. Guru is revived for a brief period and then Goku along with Krillin arrive back on Earth with their bodies intact once again. Gohan and Vegeta also arrive, with Vegeta just resting on some tree away from them. Goku is happy to be revived and they celebrate with him after he nobly sacrificed himself to kill Frieza. Vegeta just continues to think about the Super Saiyan power that Goku has and how he doesn't have that power for himself. With this, the Earth is back at peace, the Namekians are left to remain on their own planet since it isn't about to explode. They celebrate amongst themselves and the arc comes to a close. This time there is no Mecha Frieza and Goku doesn't train on Yardrat, however he is very motivated to train on Earth after basically lucking out in his fight against Frieza. Without his nifty ability of kinetic reflection and absorption, he would have been killed by Frieza and not his own heroism. Vegeta spends pretty much all his time training and Goku is also training quite intensely. He continues to use the power of Super Saiyan and his power grows quite significantly. The two reach Goku's Namek level of power after just a few months and their power continues to grow past that. I'd say that Goku ends up stronger than he was after Yardrat because his training here is based on increasing his power level and not just meditating and learning special techniques like instant transmission. I mean, we learn in Dragon Ball Super that the Yardrat training is basically just meditating for extended periods of time. After about a year of training, King Cold has put the pieces together and now knows that the killer of his son, Frieza, is currently residing on Earth. Therefore, he wants to give this person a closer look just to see who he is. After that, he'll slaughter him and avenge his son before blowing the entire planet to smithereens. King Cold arrives on Earth and everybody bands together upon sensing his ki. They can sense that it's similar to Frieza's, but it has its own differences in subtle ways. "Hello there, people of Earth," King Cold asks, stepping out of his ship with his arms lifted by his side. "Who are you?" Goku interrogates, preparing to fight him. The two converse for a short time more and King Cold declares that he will slay Goku to avenge his fallen son. Goku enters a special form, Super Saiyan, but King Cold isn't scared of such a transformation. It isn't the last thing that he saw before his death like Frieza. Well, that's at this point in time. Goku speed blitzes him and drops him with a single punch to his gut. King Cold, with his head still tilted down, tries to take him off guard with a sucker punch only to see it breaks his own arm. Finally, Goku holds his hand to his chest before staring into his soul with his sea blue eyes. "Never come back here again. If you step foot on this planet again, I'll make sure to take you down," Goku declares. King Cold isn't going to take that defeat already and walk away with his tail in between his legs. He is from a very powerful race and once used to rule over Saiyans like Goku. Desperately swinging to try and hit him, Goku punches him in the stomach once again to drop him back to his knees. King Cold then takes this chance to flee, but before he can, he is killed by a stray energy blast coming from elsewhere. Looking up toward the skies for its origin, a floating man can be seen surrounded by a chaotic golden aura, a Super Saiyan. Vegeta almost can't believe it, a second Super Saiyan here before he could even achieve the form after a full year of training. It just doesn't make sense to him at all. Future Trunks lands and tries his best to not make these people overreact. Just as in canon, he chooses to have a spar with Goku. This time the fight is even more of a mismatch compared to before. Goku's current training was based on strength and not control, meaning that he is stronger than his canon counterpart was. After this, Future Trunks explains what's going to happen. Goku is going to die of the heart virus and the world won't be able to defeat the threat that is the androids. They'll be too powerful to fight without him, and he says that he needs to remain alive in this timeline so that they can win. Additionally, with 3 years of training, the others can grow stronger to make sure that they have the best shot possible. This is what happens, and the group train hard for these 3 years. Goku gains access to Super Saiyan along with Vegeta as he trains solitarily. For the opening parts of this saga, things go relatively similar. However, the events start to change as Goku faces Android 19. Even with his growing sickness, Goku is able to absorb the kinetic energy of 19's attacks to then re-administer it in a deadly single strike, breaking apart the mechanical being. With that, there is no android for Vegeta to take down in style, but he still does make his surprise appearance. Goku is taken back to his home to rest as the virus starts to cripple him, then Dr. Gero flees to activate the androids. Again, the events play out rather similarly here, except for Gohan being notably stronger than he was in canon. Here, Piccolo has spent a lot of time alone, and after Goku being revived, he isn't as hostile toward them. It feels like he's already completed his goal. What's the use in repeatedly killing Goku if he just gets wished back every time? His evil nature has dwindled quite a bit, but he is still a lot more demonic compared to his canon self now. Piccolo is watching over the group after Vegeta flies away, having been defeated by the likes of Android 18. Seeing the severity of the situation at hand here, he chooses to fly off to Kami's lookout in secrecy, almost forcing Kami to fuse with him. The old Namekian decides to do so, and Piccolo is given significantly more power. However, without Nail to fuse with, Piccolo still can't hold a flame against even the likes of Imperfect Cell. Piccolo finds Imperfect Cell and just flies over to him in curiosity. Upon finding him there, Piccolo looks confused. "Who are you supposed to be?" he asks. "A super being, Piccolo, an amalgamation of the strongest warriors of Earth," Cell proudly explains. Piccolo sees no need for this chat to continue and prepares himself for battle. Flying straight to Imperfect Cell, he thrusts forward a kick that the bio-android blocks rather easily. Along with that, his body stays totally firm and glows slightly. As for the subsequent punch hurtling his way, he elegantly steps back to evade it before shooting up into the air. He gracefully flips whilst mid-air and delivers his Kamehameha away from above. The blast shoots down toward Piccolo, who is forced to block it head on. He receives significant bruising from the attack and knows that he won't be able to take a blast of that sort again. Even though the blast pales in comparison to the new energy waves that Goku has come up with, Piccolo cannot handle it. Cell continues the beatdown of Piccolo and the Namekian can't keep up. After a combination from the Namekian, Cell throws back all that kinetic energy into Piccolo's stomach, using the ability hailing from Goku's DNA. Soon though, the bio-android grabs him by his neck and lifts him up. With his long tail, he slowly brings the being closer to his face, while Piccolo flails around with desperation to try and free himself. "Goodbye, Namekian," Cell states. Piccolo struggles to free himself and soon sees his vision turning hazy. Squeezing more tightly, his neck snaps and Cell drops his corpse before continuing his mission of finding the other androids to achieve perfection. At this point in time, Goku has just about managed to heal himself of the heart virus. Imperfect Cell is haughtily going from city to city without even hiding his ki, taking the life force of any human in sight. This gives Goku the cue to see what's happening here. He flies right toward the Saiyans and wants to make sure that they're coordinated before this fight continues. Goku believes that he is strong enough to face these beings. Even if he doesn't have the battle power, he can use their power against them to win. That is, if he utilizes kinetic absorption. However, that is based on the hope that these androids won't have the ability to counter his nifty ability. The group are all at the Kame house, and as this happens, the androids arrive. Much to their delight, the door is met by none other than Goku himself, the man that they were searching for. "Perfect," 17 states, smiling. The others look even more engaged upon seeing him. They ask to battle and Goku agrees. His kinetic absorption and reflection abilities has made him fearless, but he just hopes that they won't focus on the use of energy blasts if he isn't strong enough. However, after all that training leading up to this point, he feels like he might be strong enough. Vegeta doesn't surpass Goku like he did in canon here. Goku was stronger after the year in between the Frieza and Future Trunks sagas. During this time though, Goku wants to make sure that they're getting stronger as fast as possible. With that Imperfect Cell being running amok, they need to make sure that they're prepared. Therefore, he makes sure that Future Trunks and Vegeta are in the hyperbolic time chamber as he fights these warriors. This is what ends up happening, and the remaining fighters follow Goku to the scene. Goku stands against 17, who is first to face him. 16 and 18 stand readily behind, and they all wish to face him together. Their will to kill Goku is too strong to just let 17 do it himself and get all the glory. Here, Goku might just be in way over his head. Android 17 doesn't even approach him and just assails him with a full power energy wave from range. Goku stands there ready and takes on much of the kinetic energy of this blast through his kinetic absorption. 17 continues with another few blasts, and Goku decides to use his kinetic reflection ability to start knocking them away. The kinetic energy being reflected means that they start moving in the opposite direction, hurtling straight for the androids. The other people watching this are taken aback by Goku's intelligence here and his ability to just swat back the blasts. The androids must be extra attentive to dodge these powerful blasts, but only 18 is caught by them. 16 is strong enough to either tank these blasts or evade them. 17 then continues with yet another energy wave, but Goku lifts to evade it. He continues to try and take him down with calculated energy blasts, and even 18 chips in to try and slaughter the Saiyan. However, he can use his kinetic reflection when he times it properly and his speed to evade. If he doesn't properly use his technique, the energy wave explodes before he can even have the chance to redirect its kinetic energy. Being caught by a few of these blasts in this manner, Goku isn't even in the best shape. He is still injured and hasn't even had the chance to use his kinetic absorption. Goku decides to then land in front of his friends, looking back to them. "I need you all to hit me now. Use all the power that you have," Goku shouts back as Android 16 stands forward. He takes off the ends of his arms and they begin to light up. The Goku killing attack begins to be charged. Hell's Flash. The fighters don't really understand why he's done this, but they do what he says. They all dish punch after punch and Goku continues stockpiling this power. The main deliverer of this power is Gohan, since he's the strongest out of this group. Their individual attacks might not be very strong, but it powers up rather quickly. Goku's body is almost totally enveloped in a golden gleam that they think is from Super Saiyan, but instead it's coming from his body stockpiling their power. "Run now," Goku roars, before zooming towards 16 with everything that he has. As he does this, he leaps up once he sees energy waves being launched at him. Hell's Flash is unleashed, and he just about manages to jump over the main wave of blasts, but 16 redirects his arms to pretty much chase after him. Instead, Goku flies up and downward, missing the main splash zone. In his advance, he must get hit by these blasts and uses his kinetic absorption to power himself up further, even if he does take further damage from it. Goku delivers all this stockpiled kinetic energy in the form of a single devastating punch. Upon landing the attack, there is a bright outburst of light and energy. As everything cools and dies down, the remnants of Android 16 remain in front of him and the other androids look quite scared upon watching him. After having so much information implanted into their brains, they know how Goku was able to do that. He stockpiled the Z-Fighter's power and delivered it in a single ultra-powered blow to take him down. I mean, their fighting style has been specifically designed to take him down. The androids are a bit startled, and just as they want to continue the battle themselves, somebody comes out of nowhere to assault them. This is Imperfect Cell. Goku curses himself for losing track of the guy, and the other Z-Fighters feel the same. However, they can feel his signature and know that they stand no chance against whatever that beast is. He takes 17 by surprise and absorbs him, turning him into the being known as Semi-Perfect Cell. In this new state of mind, he already reigns supreme as the strongest warrior on the planet as of right now. Cell pretty much already claimed that title before absorbing the android, so he is like a king to peasant in terms of power. 18 launches a ki blast straight at him to try and keep him at bay, but it does nothing. Cell gets ready to pounce on her, but Tien stands there boldly in the skies. He believes that he might just have the power to keep this warrior down for now. Run now," Tien shouts to the android, who is surprised that he's helping her. However, the fighters can see that the last thing they want is to let him absorb Android 18 as well. His Tri-Beam does just that, and the being isn't strong enough to overpower them so that he can track down 18. 18 and Goku escape, and Tien literally passes out from overexerting himself. "Will you be a coward and run from this fight?" Semi-Perfect Cell asks, looking up to Goku. "Don't worry, Cell, we'll be back for you," Goku shouts down before flying off with everything that he has. Now that he has this time, he sees no need to look after them. His greater priority is 18. This means that Semi-Perfect Cell lets Goku and Tien go. Soon after this, Trunks and Vegeta emerge. Here they are exactly as strong as they were in the canon timeline, and Goku then enters with his son Gohan. Vegeta then goes on to face Semi-Perfect Cell. He shows off the new form that he attained through his grueling training in the chamber, the Super Vegeta form. Cell looks ready to face him, and his arrogance seems to be getting the best of his mentality. Vegeta darts right at him and doesn't seem to hit him. Instead, he launches a big bang attack straight into his stomach and leaves an agonizing bruise there. He then continues as if he's going to use hand-to-hand combat, but uses ki blasts and energy waves instead. This leaves Cell in quite the pickle, since he is struggling to just tank all these powerful blasts. Vegeta soon retreats at full speed before launching his Gallic Gun energy wave. He doesn't use it very often nowadays, but it's much quicker for him to charge compared to the final flash. His body is scorched almost all over, and he is panting after having to go through that intense, painful fight. You must be wondering how I know not to hit you. If you are like Goku, like you've repeatedly claimed, that means that you should have that weird durability thing too. Therefore, I just have to use Energy Blast to keep you at bay, just like I'll do with Goku when I kill him myself. The nearly perfect being is infuriated by this showing of weakness from himself and roars as he shoots himself straight toward Vegeta. Even with these energy waves and blasts, he has managed to absorb some of their energy. He delivers it all in a single punch, walloping the likes of Super Vegeta. This attack annoys him, and he then follows up by driving a Big Bang attack straight up and into his neck. The blast forces him back and makes him shake off his head, annoyed about his own weakness. However, Cell can use Vegeta's arrogance against him. Just like in canon, Vegeta sees no threat in Cell and therefore allows him to absorb a hiding 18 to become his perfect self. So that will conclude the third part of What If Goku Had Kinetic Reflection. Please tell me something you liked about this video or something that I should improve on for the next one. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.